Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today, we're taking you back to an old series we used to do called Building a Battalion, and we're going to be looking at all the battalions in the Soulblight Gravelords book and talking about how we can use them to build an army focused around them. Battalions are a great way to theme your army. They're great for narrative play, they're great for match play in certain circumstances as well, but narrative play I think is where they really shine with battalions. A battalion can sort of set the scene and the tone and the feel for your whole force, and it'd be a great way to sort of give yourself a place to sort of look to collect towards. A lot of battalions can be the vast majority of your army, if not your whole army at times. So with that in mind, we're going to look at them all. We're going to look at see how we can use them to be the vast majority of our army, how we can theme around them. So all the units we bring into the army outside the battalion, if we need to, we'll be focusing on whatever is in the battalion to make whatever in the battalion the main focal part of our army. So, with that said, we're looking at the Red Banqueters today, and the Red Banqueters is a battalion from Soulblight Gravelords, and let's talk a little bit about its organisation. So, you can take 2+ Vampire Lords. Now, as it is currently worded, we ignore subheaders when looking at models in battalions, so we ignore the on zombie dragon parts. This means you can include Vampire Lords on zombie dragons in this battalion, even though they're not keyworded. Keyword just means you would be able to include named variations of them, so we can't in this case because the word isn't keyword bold, so therefore we can't include things like Radikar or Prince Vodra, etc. We then get the choice of either one Bloodseeker Paladin or one Coven Throne. We don't get a choice of not including this model. We have to include one or the other in the battalion. And for me, they've both got their decent options. The Bloodseeker Paladin can give some extra attacks, and if we're talking about Vampire Lords on Zombie Dragons, or Velocitors for short, the Bloodseeker Paladin's +1 attack if you kill something near it is pretty cool, because there's a lot of attack profiles to add to there. But the Coven Throne also has some cool abilities to give +1 to save, which can make us on a 2-up save for those Velocitors as well, which is really nice. Then 2+ units of Blood Knights really is cool because it allows us to take as many units as we want, so we have a way to play around with the army a bit here as well, as we can sort of build around and just change up a few different things with the army, how we go, being like the unit sizes we choose to take and all of that. So we can either choose to build large units, lots of small units, and we can build this towards playing in a smaller force or a larger force. But in this case, we're going to be looking at a 2,000 point army at the end of this, so that's what we're going to be looking for. Ability-wise, the abilities are pretty straightforward for this battalion. In your hero phase, you can heal up to D3 wounds allocated to each model in the battalion. Now, this does say model, so it doesn't mean you can bring back models with this rule. So if a Blood Knight dies, you don't get to bring it back, etc. Into the unit, but it does mean if a Blood Knight's on 1 wound, you can potentially heal them to come back up to full health, potentially, if you roll enough on the D3. Really cool. So let's start looking, I guess, at an army list we've got here that we can look at to sort of put all of this into practice and get us a Red Banqueters focused army. And so here we have a sample army list for the Red Banqueters Battalion. So we're going to be playing in the Castelli Dynasty. The reason why we're doing this is because it allows Blood Knights to become battle line. And also we get some really cool abilities that we can play around with the battalion. Now, when you drop a battalion, you can choose to do so in however many drops you want, but when you drop it all at once, if you're wanting to get that first turn, so you've got a 1-drop army here that we've written, you can choose at that time when you 1-drop it to put units in reserve along with on the table, so you can just 1-drop it how you want, you just have to say what you're doing. So with that in mind, because we've got the ability to play units out of Deep Strike, it's a really cool thing that we can keep some things like the Blood Knights in reserve and just have them come off the table. We don't need all of them on the table. It's maybe an idea, maybe, that you might want to split one of the units of 10 down to 2 units of 5 as well, just to give you more options off the board edge as well, if that's something you want to take more advantage of. Now, talking about the list though, let's get looking. The Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon is going to be our general. He's going to have the command trait, a craving for massacre, and what this one does is give him run and charge. And well, that's as good as you think it is. It's a Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon who can run and charge. Really cool. He's going to have the standard of the Crimson Keep, which makes shooting -1 to hit him, and then he's going to have the spell Amethystine Pinions, which is great, just gives him plus 6 inch to his movement. This combined with run and charge makes him an absolute missile head. This is going to shoot forward to your opponent's lines and smash. We're then going for a Vampire Lord on foot. You can, if you want, take 2 Vampire Lords on Zombie Dragons in this army, though you generally reduce yourself down to about 15 Blood Knights if you do that. I think 1 Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon with all the buffs on him, like Craving for Massacre and Amethystine Pinions, is generally better, and so you're probably better off just paying attacks of a 2nd Vampire Lord. This Vampire Lord's going to have Soul Pike. It's one of the 18-inch range spells. This can attack an enemy unit and force them to take some mortal wounds if they do move. We're then gone for the Coven Throne in this army list. We're going to give it the artifact, the Fragment of the Keep. So this gives it a -1 to wound bubble around it in 6 inch. So it's going to be -1 to wound in combat pretty much. And then it's going to have the spell Spirit Gale, which is very much a roll 2d6, try and roll over the bravery and do mortal wounds spell. That generic sort of thing you're used to Terrorgeist doing to you and all those sort of things. Battle line, 2 units to 10 Blood Knights as mentioned, and a unit of 5. This rounds out the 3 battle line units that we need. Though, as mentioned, if you're wanting to take advantage a little bit more of the deep striking, you could easily make this a unit of 10 and 3 units of 5, or maybe unit 15 and 2 units of 5, something like that. Battalion wise, we've then got the Red Banqueters, obviously, and we've added in an endless spell at the end, the Burning Head. Now, the reason why we've gone for Burning Head is because rerolls of 1 to hit is not something we have an awful lot of access to here in this particular list. Yes, we know we can get it through using command points, but we're much better off using those command points to do other things we can do in the army. And so for this, we're going to go with the Burning Head. It's a spell. It's going to always be off. It gives us reroll 1s to hit and a 9-inch bubble around it. It's not going to rely on us spending command points to do so, which is cool because we're wanting to use command points to be able to do some other things, and especially make sure we can sort of get reroll saves is generally probably an important one on this in case we get bogged down, is when you want to save those command points for. And you've got other things you can use. Potentially you can try and get some of the other command abilities out of your other characters as well. Like the Vampire Lord's command abilities, add 1 to the attacks characteristic model, which is really nice as well. But this is just a little fun. What do you think of the Red Banqueters as a battalion you're thinking of using? Let us know in the comments below. Well, thank you all for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. While you're on YouTube as well, why not go check out my featured channel section where there's a bunch of other fantastic Warhammer Age of Sigmar content creators doing everything from battle reports, lore videos, painting videos, narrative games, tactical videos, and more besides that as well. And if you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here at Sinful Gaming, you can do so by following the link in the description of the video to our Discord server. Lastly though, we'd like to give a shout out to everyone who helps support the channel via Patreon and YouTube members. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. Thank you to our patrons, Christian Weir, James Soren, Chaos Spawn, AJC, Kenny Lowell, Outer and Shop First, James Crowder, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, Tim Newman, The Rising Ape, The Q Dynamic, Augustin Andreas, Lopez Diaz, and Anthony B. And thank you to our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Firetine, Steve T, and The Real Zeop. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. If you'd like to help support the channel like they do and help us keep putting out Warhammer Age of Sigmar content and Warhammer content in general, please do go subscribe to Patreon or YouTube members in the description of the video below. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe everyone, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.